So hello, my name is Letitia. I'm currently a clinical therapist, education-based speaker, author and coach. And today I have Michael here with me, all the way, or Dr. Michael, I should say, all the way from, where are you from?
I'm from Munich, Germany.
Germany, exactly. So he's come here today. Currently, those of you who have been watching, you know a little bit about my story, but for those of you who don't, I joined the medical profession, or as a therapist, went through training about 10 years ago. I'd had a lot of sports injuries, a lot of neck injuries, and I really wanted to go into the medical sciences and find a way that I was able to obviously help other people out of pain. And really that's how I got into the field. And since then, I've met all sorts of people. I met Dr. Michael here through the JT Fox organization. There's a networking group that we are involved in, and that's how we connected. And this podcast, or this series, really is where I can connect with other health practitioners, where we can share our stories, where we can share our passion, really so that we can help others in the process. So I'd love to hear your story, Dr. Michael, and what you're currently doing for the profession that you're in.
Okay, thank you very much, Letitia.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be with you
It is.
here. Just to start from the beginning, I'm my background. I'm born in Romania, actually, and I studied medicine there and became a urologist. And then suddenly, my boss, who was a friend and who brought me up to what I was as his son, and he taught me urology with a teaspoon, as I say, had to bring his son-in-law in the clinic. And I was never number two. And I was supposed to become a professor in the second biggest university in Romania. And he said to me, I have to bring my son-in-law in the clinic because nobody wants to get him. And I said, well, if he comes, I will be number two. And you raise me up to be number one. So I cannot do that. So what shall I do? And after bringing me up for 9 years, my best friend is his daughter. He's the professor for cardiology in Romania at the moment. He said, you have to go. And 3 days later, it was the times of Ceausescu in the communist Romania. Okay? And 3 days later, I was in Germany. I'm a good swimmer. Danube is a big river. So I left my family with a bag in the hand and left Romania with 29. So I start all over from zero. I went, I started driving taxi there in Germany so that I learned the city. So the city is now my city because I think I know Munich better than many Munich people know it, because I drove for almost a year taxi there. But and then I applied for a job in some universities, and I had such an impressive operating catalog that nobody was believing that what I could do. And one of the universities in Munich took me up, and when they saw what I can, that I'm quicker and better than most of them, I wouldn't get a chance to do anything. And finally, I did. And I will make this story very short. So I have to leave Munich. I went in the northern of Germany for a few months, and then I went to the western part of Germany for 1 year when I graduated as a urologist in Germany. And then I went back to Munich, and I was in the taxi. And that taxi, I drove a lawyer, and I almost had a practice that was 1.2 million German marks. Wow. And I was, it's similar with what JT said. I was plus 35 minus of my account.
Yeah, right.
But I signed the agreement to buy that business and become a urologist in my own practice. And I didn't have any financing for that. And I drive this guy to the airport, and he said, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a urologist. And you're a urologist and you drive taxi? He said, yes. So how come? Then I told him his story because the way to the airport for almost 3/4 of an hour, it was long. He heard the story, said, you know what? Drive me back in the office. Okay. Turn around, drove in the office, you come with me. Okay. So I went up to his office. He says, here for a few minutes. Then he came back after a few minutes. He said, you know, Mike, you take a train tomorrow and you go to Mannheim. I have a friend who is a banker and he will help you get the practice.
Wow.
Really? Yes. So I drove to Mannheim. I went to the bank. He heard my story. He said, you know, it's impressive, but you know what? You want to buy the practice in Munich and I'm in Mannheim. But I have a friend, a banker in Munich, and he can do it. I cannot do it from here. So I went back to Munich next day. I went to the bank there, and there was a guy coming into the office where I was waiting. A 17 years looking guy with a red hair like that, you know, like Jimi Hendrix. Okay? So I sit there for 10 minutes, and he's looking at me and looking at him. And he said, I asked him, when's the banker coming? He said, I'm the banker. Really? Okay, so I told him his story. He said, I'm good. I will make the practice better than it is, even if that's so expensive. Because they were doing my about 1.1 million German a year. He said, I'm better than that. And I said, okay. And it was 2 weeks before taking over, and I had a financing. So I went with a 1.2 million, 1.15 million that he wanted for the practice. I went back to this. I have the financing. I can start in 2 weeks. You know, and he know what he said. If you have that financing, you can finance also 1.2. So I don't sell it if you don't give 1.2. That's business, okay? Lessons to learn. So I said, well, of course, okay, it's not my money. I went back to the bank. I said, you know, he just was such a person and he wants 1.2. So, oh, 1.15, 1.2 is the same, no problem. We financed that for 12 years. You don't feel it. All right. So I got the praxis. So, the praxis in about 5 years, I managed to become the biggest praxis in Germany, and I made 308%. JT says commerce, 308.85% better than the median praxis in Germany.
Perfect.
So, and I became, because I was very specialized in the pelvic floor, I became the first certified teaching center of the German Society of Incontinence in the South Germany. So I was a specialized incontinence practice, people running from all over the place, from outside the country coming to see me. I saw about 4,500 people a year. Still do that now after almost 95 to here, 25, 26 years almost. Because I was specialized in pelvic floor rehab, now we're coming to the medical part of that. The only thing that was available in the conservative therapy of the pelvic floor was gymnastics, Kegel exercises, electrostimulation, biofeedback. And my experience as an authority in pelvic floor rehab and incontinence, known worldwide, is that less than 2% of the patients will do that. Because if you will do pelvic floor training, you need to train an hour, 2 hours a day in order to do something. If you want a professional sport, you train every day. If you want a professional pelvic floor, you have to train every day. But nobody does that. It was these small devices with a probe like my thumb that you would introduce intravaginally or intrarectally to rehabilitate, stimulate electrically. but the penetration depth of that is only about 1.2 centimeters at the most, 1.1, 1.2 centimeters. So imagine you have a pelvic floor that is 8 centimeters thick, and you put a probe inside that goes 1.2 centimeters into the muscles. Okay? Electricity on top of that.
Stimulating the nervous system.
To stimulate the nerves, not the nerves, to stimulate the muscles. Because when you stimulate electrically, you have a flow of electrons in the neuromuscular plaque. So you go directly to the muscle. You don't go to the nerves. You stimulate the muscle. Okay? So when you want to do it correctly, you place a probe intravaginally or indirectly twice a day for 20 minutes. Actually, theoretically, forever. But the insurances paid it for at the most months. But because I was a special practice for incontinence, I had a lot of incontinence patients and a hell of a lot of these devices. And I was getting a lot of money from the people sponsoring me congresses and publishing and whatever, because I was writing so much. Okay, I was writing so much that actually just the commissions from that business paid for my rent, which was almost 8,000 a month. Okay, there was a lot of pay. And now that's my amazing story that starts. Okay. In '99, in spring, sometimes in spring, I had a patient about 60 who had a mild incontinence that would profit from these electrostimulation devices. Okay, I explained her, I made a diagnosis, and then I had a speech with her, and I said, "Look, you need this because of this, so that you understand why." And then she looks me in the eye and said, "Do you think, Dr. Jordan, that I will put my age, a probe like that, into myself twice a day for 6 months?" I said, "Well, that's the treatment that exists on the market. Or you train 2 hours a day."
Yeah.
You see me training 2 hours a day? I don't. That's why I give you have the best option, put the probe inside of you. And she said, "What do you know about that?" What I know about that, I'm a professor of urology, so I know about that, and I'm the authority in that. She said, "Did you put a probe in yourself?" I said, "No, I did not." Then she said to me in German, "Okay, you know shit." She turned around and left the office. And Dr. Michael Jordan, that you see here, was born a student, was born curious, and will die a student. I said, "Well, this lady is right. I'm selling that to the patients, hundreds and thousands of these devices. I never tested well. But I'm the authority. Not good." So what I did, I closed the door, took my pants off, and I placed that intrarectally to see what is that about. And I learned something that I will never want to experience again. Electricity in your ear. Not good. Okay? And I understand, what do I do to these people? But I don't have anything else to do. Make the story short. Yeah.
I would have thought, I thought that most medical devices, it's sort of like when you're coming up with peer-reviewed papers, and I thought it would have to be at least peer-reviewed and tested before it will be able to make the market.
Yes.
Because yeah.
You know what? The studies are made for a company, and the company pays doctors for certain results.
I see.
Well, I'm against the stream. Doctors and authorities don't like me very much because I'm saying what it is. I'm coming from communist Romania. I thought I'm coming into the free world. Nothing like that. Okay? So I don't want to go politically because that's not the thing of that. So what I learned is that putting electricity into yourself is a very weird and not nice way to get things done. And I understood why so many hundreds and thousands of these people, well, I send a receipt for free because the insurance will pay for that, will not do it. 90% of them will come back with the system not open, give it back to me.
Right.
Or they make for a week or two and then they stop. Because you cannot just put electricity twice a day, 20 minutes, in order to get the results needed. Whatever the peer reviews and paperwork say about that, it's just not working, okay? That's my experience with thousands of people over 30 years, okay? Then I went to, as every year, to the American Urological Association Congress, the biggest urological congress in the world at that time. I think today the European Congress is bigger than the American, but at that time was the biggest. That was the number one. You had to be there if you want to make a difference. If you want to be there, you have to learn new things. And that was me. That was my ex-professor in Romania, a new-oriented urologist. We launched a lot of things in Romania. I was the first doctor who did ultrasound in my university center. And the most internal professors of internal medicine and were my students. I was a student.
Yeah.
But I was doing that in the urology because it was the first ultrasound in the city.
Wow, yeah.
And I could speak English, and my teacher, my professor, now. So I learned everything, and we did it on ourselves and learned stuff. Then we taught actually the whole university professors of today how to do ultrasound. Yeah. We introduced the electrostimulation devices in Romania. We introduced the first university. Okay. We did the first transurethral resection of the prostate, transurethral resection of bladder tumors. We did a lot of innovative stuff. He was very innovative in the mind. He was a great doctor, okay? And I was able to learn from him for 9 years every day. I never had a vacation. Say, you want to learn? You come. I don't take excuse. He was a very tough doctor, was a lovely one, and I'm very grateful that I was a student. And that innovative mind conducted me further in my life. Okay, so I went to this congress, and there was a small booth called Neotonus, and it was three rows of doctors waiting in line for that booth for 30 meters. So what is this? Well, they're giving a car away. Why are the doctors staying in this small booth? I stood at that booth for about almost an hour. I came to the booth. That's a wooden chair and a controller, a computer, like the one you see here. Okay, that's not that chair. It was a wooden chair. So I said, "What is this?" This is the newest therapy for incontinence in women. Come on, how do you do it? You just sit fully dressed in this chair, and there is a magnet in the floor of the chair that will stimulate up to a depth of 8 centimeters your pelvic floor. So you imagine an apple of a diameter of 8 centimeters. You put it on the chair, you sit on the apple goes inside of you. Everything inside the apple contracts 18,000 times in 20 minutes.
Wow.
I said, come on, you want to tip, a bit of arrogance, a bit of doctor in white, a bit of authority, a bit of ego. What do you want to teach me? I'm the authority, okay? So sit down. And I sat down in that chair for a minute. That 1 minute changed my life. And it will change the way neuromuscular stimulation will be done in the world. And that's why my business career and my medical career in the pelvic floor rehabilitation started. I had this electrostimulation device in my rear, and I couldn't do it. And I sit in the chair, fully dressed, and I have the whole pelvic floor contracting 18,000 times in 20 minutes. I said, I need to have it. I need to have it. How much is it? 43,000 US dollars. 99 US dollar was 2.68 German mark. It was huge, huge. I said, well, come on, I don't have that kind of money. So I have to have it. So I went down out of the booth. I called my friend in Munich who runs leasing business for doctors. And I said, look, I have a system, $43,000. I need to buy it, but I need you to give me a leasing rate, no down payment, the smallest rate ever, the longest payment at the end, but I need to buy this. He comes back to me 2 hours later, saying, Mike, about 2,500 German marks. Come on, 2,500, that's what, double as the median salary in Germany. I said, and then, you know, I think my strength is to connect dots, okay? I'm also doing acupuncture since over 30 years. In one session, 20 minutes acupuncture, I charged at that time 100 German marks. So it's about $50, 50 euros about now. That's the medium of anything almost in physiotherapy, rehabilitation, 20 minutes therapy, about $50, 50 euros, okay? So I said, well, how many sessions you need? 20 sessions. 20 sessions, 100 times, 2,000. Hey, Mike Jordan, you need a bit more than one patient a month to cover the investment. So I'm born in Romania. I negotiated the price. I was not educated in business at that time. They are doctors. Doctors are not business educated.
No, not at all.
But I knew I have to negotiate because it was a pretty high price. So I negotiated down to 37,400, which was pretty good. So I brought the system, brought it to my practice, and offered that as an alternative for the electrostimulation. You know what? It is 21 years. I could not sell any electrostimulation device since then.
Really?
Really. Nobody wanted that. They wanted a chair.
Ah, I see what you mean. Sorry, yes. Yes.
You know what?
Yeah.
I had so many patients in the chair.
Yeah.
I'm talking now with my mind from now, over 2,500% return of investment a month. I brought that after 2 months. I had so many patients.
Yeah, and
I had to buy
it, right?
Patients
The patient,
happy.
lots of results.
Happy.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we have more than 140 published studies on that.
Good.
So
yeah, right. There you go.
I'm
And how long?
you.
And how long did you do that for to get the 140 peer reviews?
No, it's 20 years now.
Oh
Okay?
yeah.
But
yeah.
I couldn't publish because I will tell you.
Yeah.
So 2 months later, I had so many patients. I had to buy a second one. I didn't have appointment free. Everybody was freaking out. I had patients I had patients who was flying twice a week from northern Germany to come to sit in the chair for 20 minutes.
That's brilliant.
Okay. Then when I brought the second one,
when people are in pain or they want to solve something and it's
they want to solve a problem. They want to solve problems.
They'll travel the other side of the world.
Yeah. Okay. So after I brought the second chair, another couple of months later, almost the second chair full of patients. I was making tremendous amount of money, a lot of patients, and a lot of amazing results. So I called the American company and said, well, is anybody selling the device here? And that is the second answer that changed my business life. He said, you know what, Dr. Jordan? You're the first doctor outside the United States who owns one. I said, what? Yes, nobody bought it outside the United States at the moment. We just launched it 4 months ago. I said, can I have the rights distributed exclusively in Germany and Romania? He said, well, if you sign the contract, why not? So he sent me a 27 pages American distribution contract. I went to my lawyer. He said, you need to start a company. So I launched my first company, GmbH, a limited company. I signed the agreement. I was the only one selling around. I will sell 100 systems, everything will be fine. Okay. I will do the same as the Americans did. Take some shows, put the people to sit in the chair because it's a wow effect every single time.
Yeah.
And I sell 100 systems, then I don't work for money. The money will work for me. Okay. It was not like that. It was not like that. I'm born in Romania. Being in Romania, a Romanian in Germany, it's not easy. Where did you buy your title? You know, when envy comes up, everybody wants to blow you up, but when you're up, everybody wants you down.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went in the exhibitions, displayed the chair. I said, well, sit in the chair, you will know. Do you have some paperwork? There were some 3 or 4 published studies for the FDA because it's an FDA approved system, EC certificate. Okay, so in order to get FDA, you need to make some paper. So I showed the paper. Said, "Well, do you have European papers?" I said, "Come on, it's just launched. That's the first shows. You don't have it. Who are you, Professor Jordan? Who are you?" It's coming back what JT says. It's not about who you know, it's who knows you. And
Yeah.
you're the Romanian guy selling to the biggest professors in Germany. Doesn't work well. So I didn't sell no systems for 2 years. But in order to maintain an exclusivity, I buy the system all the time. So I had about 1.5 years later, I had 50 systems in my garage, didn't sell the system. But I was making a hell of a lot of money with the chair in my practice, so that I had money to buy the
So
system.
you had proof that results and the patients were seeing results.
I was not business educated. I didn't take testimonials. I was just happy that people coming are doing a lot of things.
Of course,
And-
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I had to make a decision, a business decision. So I said, you know what? I made a list of 50 biggest names in urology in Europe. And I say, I will drive myself with a chair on my back to each of these locations,
Yeah, good.
and I will give the system for free testing.
Mm.
And I went to these biggest names and I said, look, I gave you the chair. It's 40,000 euros, at that time 80,000 German marks, whatever it was. No money, you test it. You will get this results. If you do this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get the results, you know what? Throw the chair out of the window, because I need to make a decision if I continue spending money on this or I will continue doing my work as a urologist. They say, you have guts, Dr. John. I say, yes, I have results every day since almost 2 years. People streaming. I cannot give any electrostimulation biofeedback because nobody wants that. When you have this, do you have at that time there was only Nokia, you know. Do you know that telephone? Well, this is the mobile telephone.
Yeah, for
Apple was not around yet. Apple was not around. I said, well, this is the mobile telephony for the pelvic floor. One day, this will be the standard. So, you know what? About a year later, all 50 were sold. Because I said, if you like it, after 3 months, you have to buy it. So one after the other, they brought the devices.
Perfect.
And I said, you know what? It's not about me. It's about treatment. It's about helping these millions of people and women that need this treatment. So publish for them. And this doctor started publishing papers. Not me. I was selling the device. I could not ethically write my child is nice and it's good and whatever, even if I could have the testimonials for that. So I didn't publish myself about that. But in the meantime, people working with the device saw the results and they start to publish.
Well, like
But
you say,
Okay, so
like you
today,
said, when you first start out, you're not thinking about testimonials and on business mindset. You're
no,
just
I was
just
not.
trying to
I was
help
not.
people. You're just trying to get them out of the problem that they have, and if they're in pain,
Yeah.
you're trying to solve that. So that's
And
amazing.
that's what happened. Then I started, because I had many patients, I started putting the system to see if other problems could be solved with that. Because I had I changed the frequencies, I made my own testing, so trial and error stuff. So it was one indication, two frequencies when I started. I have now 14 different indications. It was incontinent in women. Okay, I have now incontinent in women.
Physio and things we use for stimulation, for muscle stimulation, using electric.
Yes.
So,
But it's better because you go in the deep 8 centimeters comparing with 1.2. Okay, so the results are quick. I need only 20 sessions and 2 times or 3 times a week. So you get the maximum output of the muscles physiologically in 20 sessions. We tested that.
yes.
It's not more than 20. It's making money. So I never gave in over this 20 plus years, I never gave the system to anybody that didn't need it.
Yeah.
Okay. If they need it, that's a sales law also. If you know they need it, you're obliged to sell it to them. Okay. So this is what I did. Okay. But even though, so I brought the distribution rights for Germany. So, but I had in the congresses in Germany also people from Italy, from France, from all other parts of Europe. So I started doing exhibition in other parts of Europe in order to sell the devices. Okay? So I started opening other countries. Okay? I opened myself as a single person 30 countries now.
So,
I sold systems in 30 countries. So, and then in 2005, I reached that for that.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I was just before you carry on, I was just going to say, did the American company that you originally got it off, did they just keep it only within America?
Well, no, they open other countries too. The system is in 60 countries, but me personally, for the 60 countries, I opened 30 alone.
Okay, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I had no company, I had myself. It
Brilliant.
was me alone.
Yeah.
Didn't have anybody inside. Okay. So, Rich Dad Poor Dad said, if you do the right thing, you could become a world champion in 5 years. I took it for granted. And 4.5 years later, after introducing the technology in almost 28 countries, I called the American and said, look, in this part of the world where I worked, Europe, Middle East, Asia, they were not in. But I was in. I said, tell me the right to manufacture and sell exclusively in Europe, Middle East, and Asia. They said, why not? So they sold it for $7. Okay. So I brought it. One person, I brought that stuff in 2008. Okay. And then they had some problems because the technology is a competition to some surgery. And the urologist is a surgeon. Yeah. So the urologist in the education, they don't really care about his therapy. They care about surgery. Yeah. This is how the mind of a surgeon works. Yeah. Okay. Well, make the surgery and then you go. They don't think that integrating the chair into the concept, sometimes putting the patient before surgery and then rehab after surgery, they not only give better results,
correct,
they make 3 times the money.
Correct.
From the business point of view.
But as you know, as being a doctor, that most surgeons now will. That is the done thing, isn't it? Like you want to try to get the patient to a certain level of strength before they go in, so that it's easier post, right?
Yes, but I don't think so. They only think surgery, operating theater. And this is the majority of them. That's why it was a very difficult work. You know, education is the most difficult part of the work, to educate people. Okay? That's something very difficult. So, and my work was to educate doctors and patients to get to something like jobs. You know, jobs knew people need the iPhone.
Yeah.
They didn't ask, do you need the iPhone? He just made the iPhone. In a way,
He knew they needed it.
that was my thinking too. I know that people need it,
Yeah.
so I gave them to them. Okay, sacrificing my sometimes I had a lot of business challenges, very big. It's not time to talk about that because that's not the time. Okay, so this is what I did. 1 year later, because of that, the AUA and AMA actually physically sabotaged the American company to get the CPT coding in America.
Really?
Because yes. And we saw the emails. If you give them the CPT codes, we don't support you any longer. This is the death of neotonal, stuff like that.
Wow.
And there was a lawyer company who actually said, let's sue them to the CEO of American. And we will win. They never lost a lawsuit, this company. You don't have to pay us, but we get paid at the other end when we win.
Yeah.
And they sued the AUA and the AMA, American Medical Association, for $64 million.
Ooh.
I spoke with the CEO of American. I said, look, don't sue the AUA. Don't sue the AMA. You will never win against these giants. We win. No, it was a half Cherokee Indian, okay? Maybe from the structure, a fighter, okay? Then we fight the AUA, okay?
Yeah,
I love the idea, but my being a doctor and knowing how the structures work, I knew he can never win. So the process was over 3 years. They changed 3 judges, and the 3rd judge said it's not enough material for the jury, and they were lost. And that was actually, in the meantime, in order to sustain the business, they allowed me to buy the rights for Europe, Middle East, and Asia in 2008 because the lawsuit started in 2007.
Ah, so I see, yeah.
Okay, so when they actually lost the lawsuit, I went back to the CEO and said, look, you're done. You're done. You lost your name, you lost your face, you lost against the AMA. You will never be able to do anything with this device. Why don't you sell me the technology? And I'll give you another 7 people. And I said, yes. Okay.
Well, I can't use it there, so really it's
So, and I was, at that moment, I was number 1 in the world. Okay? Because I was doing the system. Okay. Yeah. So how did I buy it? I'm not good. So I needed a lawyer. I needed a lawyer in America. Mm-hmm. So what I did, Robert Kiyosaki had some partners, wrote some books, and there was one specific book was called How to Protect Your First Asset, and it was written with Michael Lecter, the husband of Sharon Lecter, who was the partner of Kiyosaki when they reached that book, that series. Okay, so I googled him, I went online, I found that number, exactly what KP said, cold calling, right? I called Michael Lecter. I said, look, my name is Michael Jordan, not the basketball player. That's how Paul Kazanowski says to me, he's not the basketball, he's the doctor.
He's got no shoes for you, it's okay.
Okay, so I told my story. I said, well, look, I'm sitting here buying American technology on my own. I'm not good at that. I need somebody that knows about this stuff. Would you be my lawyer and help me buy this technology? Of course I will. And he was my lawyer in order to get the technology acquired. So since 2009, I own it.
Yep.
I continue doing that. I found out I cannot manufacture these devices any longer, only maybe 200 pieces, because there are electronic parts inside that were not existing on the market. So I had to redo the stuff in Germany. I said I will give Germany back something, because Germany acquired me as a new citizen when I came back with a bag, and I will make this technology made in Germany.
Yeah.
Okay? And this new technology will come out on the market next year. So this is the iPhone 15 of the pelvic floor. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm coached now by Mark Anthony. Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah, he's
Yes, and it's a brilliant guy. He saw the value, and I know that we will together bring that to the people.
brilliant.
Because whatever I did over these 20 plus years
Yeah.
for your audience and for yourself,
Yeah.
in this 20 plus years from all my companies and selling hundreds of systems all over the world, I never paid myself one salary at the moment.
No, you're a good man.
I reinvested all the money to grow, to buy technology, the rights and whatever, manufacture and whatever. It's not easy. And
You do what
this,
you do.
aside of being a doctor and seeing 4,000 patients a year.
Mhm.
So if somebody tells JT, we don't have time, you make time.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the story of my development and of the device. So, and I hope that there are some couple of systems in New Zealand also.
Good. Good.
Unfortunately, the seller of these devices was my ex-partner in Australia.
Mhm.
And in Australia, there are over 120 of these systems of mine.
Good.
But the CEO of the company who's distributed them, you see here is a slice under the Neotonus name. It's a chip that you put inside the old device to work. And this chip, you have to buy sessions on the chips in order to run the system. That was what the Americans did, okay? And I was making a cash flow out of that because they were buying the chips for very little money for me, and they were selling them to the customers in Australia for them. But one day, a couple of years ago, the son of this individual developed a software to bypass my
Yes, there's
software.
always going to be one that just tries.
Yes, yeah, and they did. And I lost all the referrals, all the money, about $60,000-$70,000 every year since 6 years. I didn't get it because they bypassed my system. Well, this system will one day stop working. Okay? If you Google NeoControl, you will find in online mostly Australian companies who are very, very happy with it. Okay? I don't have a distributor in Australia. I don't have a distributor in New Zealand at the moment. There were paperwork written from Australia and from New Zealand. There's a great urologist in New Zealand, a friend of mine, who wrote a very good study on that.
Yes.
Okay, but I don't have anybody that actually, they thought maybe it's dead. It's not dead. It's coming back. Stronger, better, with multiple functions, easier for the people to use, and it will just change the way things were done. So the indication spectrum at the moment of the device is incontinence in women, incontinence in men after radical prostatectomy,
Perfect.
overactive bladder, feces incontinence, chronic prostatitis and pelvic pain, both in men and women, sexual dysfunction, rectal dysfunction, and orgasmy in women, vaginal tightening, cosmetic stuff. I can grow the glue muscles centimeters in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that's amazing, really.
PSA,
Lots of,
prostate cancer, okay?
yeah.
People with enhanced PSA, I am most probably the urologist in the world with the less number of biopsies in the prostate, because I have a program called Prostatcone 2 Plus, a concept. You put the patient with enhanced PSA stay in the chair because most of them don't have a cancer. They have a chronic prostatitis. And over 90% of my people sitting in the chair with my program get the PSA back in normal. I save them biopsies. I save them the fear of cancer, you know? And this is what is 80% of what I'm doing today. This enhanced PSA. Incontinence is less because most of the people that came to me still come for the chair, but I don't see many new people because I sold my practice in order to, my first business, in order to grow this business with the chairs. I brought 2.5 years ago another business, grew it in 2.5 years 4 times. So 4 times more than it was. I'm buying another business next year. I will put people work for me so that I can work on my business, not in my business. So I'm educating now. I'm 4 years in this JT organization. I learned a lot. I think I'm prepared for the next big step. And this is what happened. So I can only hope that very soon also in your region, there will be somebody that will willing to become my partner in this business. And distribute and put to people, because this is actually a game changer, a life changer, and people will be thankful for having that and using it.
Well, I mean, all I can say is thank you. Thank you for persisting, and thank you for bringing it to the world and showing, you know, that it does work. And if it wasn't for your passion and for your continued growth, and the results that you saw and you really driving it forward, we wouldn't have it. So, you know, I'm always up for alternative solutions, for sure. Being a clinician myself who looks at obviously natural forms of alternative treatment before, you know, that if we can help pre-surgery, hopefully people don't even need to have surgery, but if they do, then at least pre and post. And you know, the purpose of this podcast or these interview series really is so that, you know, I've got quite a wide range of health practitioners in my circle, and you know, the more I can educate them, and as you said, education, it's all about education, and if I can at least help in that sense, my people can see it, other practitioners can see it, and hopefully we'll be able to work together moving forward. So yeah, I really appreciate
So what you see here,
I mean it looks
this
so
lady,
possible.
this lady is not waiting for a treatment.
No,
She's getting it.
She's
getting it.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean,
And
you could have a nice movie screen there, Michael, and the.
well, I brought the system is pretty loud because the magnet, that's a
Am I right?
notion, not that much, but it still makes a sound. It's the air compression into the magnets, changing waves, okay? That makes like tuck, 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 tuck to that, okay?
Yeah.
So I brought music for them. Nobody wants that. I still have them since 20 years in the drawer. Nobody wants that for the 20 minutes. I had a screen for that. They don't want the screen. They just the telephone. They want the telephones now, and they make it, and that's it. 20 minutes, and they go. Okay. So
How long do they sit in the treatment for? So you say it's for 20 sessions generally is where you see the most results. How long?
Yeah, you have to make that.
So how long?
The first signs of improvement you will see after 5-6 sessions.
Yep.
You need the 20. So if the patient doesn't have the time or he doesn't have the money, I don't give them the system because the system is not for them. If they don't commit for the 20 sessions, I don't give it to them because if they do only 10, it's not enough results. They will tell I paid the money, I don't have results, I don't give it to them.
Yeah, it's the same with our profession. I know coming in with chronic headaches, it's going to take me at least 3 months, so 10 to 12 sessions before, you know, that we really start seeing results. And then it's just maintenance after that. So I can see you're saying it's definitely 20 sessions, but how long is each session?
20 minutes.
20, so it is 20 minutes.
20 minutes. And then in order to maintain the results, because just for example, when you do correctly electrostimulation for 6 months and you stop, you back where you started 6 weeks later.
Yeah, like the gym.
You do the 20 sessions in the chair, you do nothing at all.
Yeah.
We, even 2.9 years later, people with good results that are still satisfied. 2.9 years, nothing. I don't do that. It's both from the medical point of view and from the marketing point of view. I'm a professional athlete, okay? So I still play for Bayern Munich. I'm German champion in soccer with Bayern Munich, okay?
Yeah.
So you cannot just make training initially and then have the championship. You still have to train from time to time. And this is what I introduced and developed the treatment protocols in order to get the maximum out of the patient. So they make a training for 20 sessions. I give them, all of my patients, 1 session for free every 3 months, but they should do 3 or 4 to maintain the results, okay? And they come, okay? They come, they do it, and they are happy. And they refer, I got, you know why I have this lady in the chair? You don't have to see her face. Because this single lady brought me 21 referrals.
There you go.
There you go, okay? So it's a business that multiply. You don't have to be there. I'm doing congresses, my chairs are working. I am not there, they're making money.
Yeah.
But not the money, it's not the money. It's the value, the life quality that the people get.
Yeah.
What I want to mention also, if you don't have value, people don't copy you. I have at the moment 15 different chairs that try to steal the market, okay? No one of the chairs give results, but the people are not good educated and they fall for that. So just want to make the difference. My magnetic chair, in the chair, has 2 magnets like a C. It's a double C iron magnet core. The wire comes here around, and then the magnet will jump out of the magnet into you, like a pyramid, like a cone, okay?
Right.
All the other 15 chairs, I know everyone by name. I know everyone, the marketing, I know everybody. They try to copy me. They use I was not educated enough in business to protect
obviously in Australia,
my treatment protocols and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what I have the exclusivity worldwide for the magnets. And what all the other chairs have inside is a ring. So the wire goes around the ring. So when you put the ring like that, the magnets go only here on the ring. So when you sit on the ring, what contracts? The glues, not the pelvic floor. But because the glues are the second strong muscles in the body after this one, the masseters, people think the chairs are working, but they are not working in the pelvic floor. So they don't give results. I have in many countries, distributors that came back to me after they tried to sell the other devices because they were cheaper, they were looking better or whatever. And they came back to me, Dr. Jordan, can I sell your system because the other one is not working? At the moment,
the other one's not working because it's stimulating the wrong muscles.
Because it's not going into the pelvic floor.
Yeah, it's not deep enough because the glute.
It's one, yes, but it's only a ring.
Yes,
and the pelvic floor is inside the ring up.
Yeah.
So what you contract is the glues.
Yeah.
And I heard from companies, from people in congresses where they try to exhibit parallel with me. In the latest time when I go to a show,
I know that.
The others don't come to that show. Because what I did, I send the patient, the customers, go to the chair, sit in the chair, then come and sit in the chair.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Don't make it. So the first company was M-Cube from Korea, a system called Biocon 2000W. And the latest one that sells double from what I'm selling, double in America, it's called Emsella. And the Emsella is nothing else like a the same as all the other 15. I know the Russian chair, the Japanese chair, the Chinese chair, the German chair, the Slovenian chair. I know all the chairs. Okay? And I sat in most of the chairs. That's nothing. Pelvis center. The pelvis center guy, the big chair that gives also light for the depression of incontinence. Okay. And the CEO of that came to me in the office and offered me 2 million euros for the right to use my studies.
Oh, for the study, yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yes, I of course I throw him out of the and they still trying to make it happen and say, well, this is the same. No, you Google them, you ask for studies, they give my study.
So they're using your studies anyway for their own studies. It's usually how
Exactly.
it goes.
Because they cannot. If you Google that in 5 studies on the other chairs, studies, medical studies that will demonstrate the value, they don't. Okay. And some people have some studies, but if you read what inside the studies is, you see it's of no value. And that's why some of the sellers, so the salespersons of these people, come to me and say, can I sell your system? A few weeks ago, a sales guy from Emsella in America wrote to me and said, can I sell your system, not selling Emsella? That says a lot, okay?
It does.
Okay, so I do believe that we'll see this new generation of devices that will come next year. We are raising money now to get into the FDA, new new
And you
stuff.
managed to sort the chip problem out.
There's no chip. There's no chip.
Now.
No.
Don't need to worry
There's
about
no
that.
chip. There will be more programs
Yeah.
so that it will be button number 1 for this, button number 2 for that, number 3 for that. In the future, there will be even something better.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Maybe you have the exclusivity of this interview now. Okay, I will tell you what's coming. It will come an AI. Okay, and that will be Dr. Michael Jordan as a hologram coming out of the system.
Oh yes,
talk
yes,
to
I've
them.
heard about this.
And they will talk to me, and they will put questions and to say, because erectile dysfunction, sexual function, incontinence, they are taboo things. People don't talk freely about that. But if you put the system in a room, Michael Jordan comes out as a hologram and asks you what's your problem, okay? And you say to the hologram, this. The program will take the information, will process the information, and will give the person a certain treatment protocol.
Straight away, yeah.
Then you get this we're going to the bank, or with Bitcoins you have this things that you scan. A code in print. You scan you with your telephone this scan with your own personalized treatment, and you go with this anywhere in the world, and any of my system in the world will do your program. Okay. This is what it's coming.
Yeah, it is coming. I mean, I saw we're getting off topic, but I did see Deepak Chopra not long ago had something very similar, the AI system, and it sounds exactly like him. It replicates everything about him. It knows, like you could ask it any questions, it will give the answer. It's kind of amazing when you start seeing this technology and what the future is, it has, but we are getting off.
Well, I didn't hear about that.
Exciting,
but it's exciting, and the future is exciting. So I'm very happy that you share that with the audience, because this will be a game changer. And that will be not only the chair, that will be a table, that will be a free hand, that will change the world of sports.
This could be a preventative treatment in the future,
Yeah, it will. I one day, I hope that maybe you can introduce me to them. I hope one day, actually, very soon, because it's ready, actually, as a testing device, I will be able to get to the All Blacks and give them the treatment.
Yes.
These old blacks, you put electrostimulation on them, it's just nothing. You put my system on them, I go through their shoulders, I go through their backs. I can treat, it's the only system in the world that can treat muscles on the anterior part of the spine.
Yes, see, that's...
You don't get that big. The psoas muscle.
Oh, it's muscle. I was going to ask that before.
I can treat the psoas muscle by just laying down on the
and
table.
and as you know, that's what I do. I'm a muscular practitioner, so that's kind of exciting to hear that. But that was one of the questions I was thinking about, when you mentioned the deep glutes that it can stimulate, but I was thinking about the psoas and how you maybe be able to use that in the future for that as well. So it's exciting.
I will try to you something very interesting now. I don't know if I can do it.
Well, we've come up to...
We had a long time.
Yeah.
Well, make the questions.
Yes.
Ask the questions.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, we definitely can come back and do another interview. We can go a little bit more into more of the science about the muscles and things like that. I think the main question that I did have was about the time and the treatment system for those of you watching and for other practitioners that they're already in practice and already in clinic. They may have further questions, but it would be great to actually touch base with you again and come back and actually have another interview where I may have other questions and maybe we can go a little bit more into the actual anatomical side of it as well. I don't know how you feel about that.
We could absolutely. Just wanted to add one thing. We are already pre-selling the device with 50% discount if you commit now.
Brilliant.
So what we do with Mark Anthony is we thought you will get the system cost $80,000.
Okay.
You will get it for $40,000.
Wow.
You will pay now only 50% of that.
Yeah.
You will pay 3 months later another 25%, and before delivery another 25%. But you will be actually the first that will get first systems coming out next year. Okay. So if somebody of your audience is interested, get back to Letitia. She will give you my contact numbers because it's worse. I tell you, one session in America is sold for my system for $79 US, so $80. And Mcella sells it for $250. Come on, and they don't have anything inside.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
So you heard it here.
So
you heard it here.
You think about that, and the 40,000, it's about 20 patients. With 20 patients, you break even. 20 patients, you break even. You have 20 patients in a month, normally. Okay, so this is a very, so if anybody interested in getting involved earlier in the cycle, okay, we're doing that at the moment, and we're taking pre-orders to 50 systems, not more. Because we cannot get that margin away, but that will help us get quicker to the market and have the advantage of getting 50% discount from the beginning.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Jordan. That's brilliant. You heard it here. So you can contact me if you have any questions, or if anybody is interested, please do reach out. You know how to get in contact with me. The link will be below. And I just wanted to thank you again, Dr. Michael, for joining me here today. And all the best for the future. And I'm sure we will be hearing more from you soon.
Anytime, Letitia.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.